What's up, viewers, subscribers, and agents alike? It's your boy Enlightened Luciferian Prince coming at y'all once again. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Thank you for viewing my channel. If it's your first time viewing my channel, please stay for a while because, you know, for 2025, we're dropping heat and we coming live and uncut. But before I proceed, let me say this. If you're watching this video around children, please remove them from your immediate vicinity because my videos are not for children. Okay? Simple as that. Adult-based content on the channel, adult-based content only. Now, secondly, this does not constitute legal advice. The sole purpose of this information is for informational and educational purposes only. If you are in a legal situation, please consult an attorney if that's your choice. If you're in legal problems or whatever, attorneys, pay your fiat, garner their services. That it is what it is. Over here on Lord Enlightened Luciferian Prince's channel 7.7, we like to read. We love to read. And we take what we read and we apply it and we get results. Now that that's out the way, I want to talk about in particular form, and it's funny that one of my subscribers had mentioned it because I told him that this is actually going to be one of my next videos. Now, the title of this video is called Form 4506B. Request for copy of exempt organization IRS application or letter. Now, remember when I was telling you about the form W-9 in regards to court cases, right? I want to let you people know every court case is a tax matter. I do not care because wherever commerce is involved, I want you to remember this. Wherever commerce is involved, it is always a tax matter. Now, later on down the line, I'm literally going to call the clerk of court and actually attempt, see what I'm saying, to garner some information within regards to the case in real time to show you what I'm saying is very true. Now, I don't think a lot of people are willing to go that far because of fear. And I'm going to be real and I'm going to say this now that the kids are out the way. If you're fucking scared, go to church. You see what I'm saying? Because in reality to this situation about redemption, you must understand that the definition of redemption, before I proceed, let me not put the cart before the horse, right? Right? You must understand what this means. Okay. Now, in the figurative sense, it's now, right? The action of saving or being saved from sin, error, or evil. Now, this is in the layman's sense, but let's talk about the legal sense, people. The action of regaining or gaining possession of something in exchange for payment or clearing a debt. Now, it's funny how it's just a noun, but these two definitions in and of itself are synonymous to one another. But it says the action of saving or being saved from sin, error, or evil. So the action of regaining or gaining possession of something in exchange for payment or clearing a debt is pretty much one and the same when we're dealing with the commercial world. Because I tell my viewers and my subscribers, no matter what you feel, no matter what you've been indoctrinated to believe, no matter what, everything in this commercial world that you embark upon, honestly, is designed to remove something from you, to take something from you. And the way that they do this is through the action of contracts, whether they're bilateral, unilateral, multilateral contracts. But in regards to a contract, there always has to be a beneficiary to the contract, and there always has to be a debtor to the contract. There are no two ways about it. I don't care if it's a business contract. Let's just say two people have a business venture, two corporations, I should say. And they particularly sit down at the table. They say, well, we'll take 49%, you take 51%. Well, we already know from the simple law of mathematics that whoever took 49% has the lesser than the one that has 51% of the corporation, which means that the 51% has a majority interest in the company, which means that the 49%, yeah, you kind of there, but you don't have the leverage that's the one that owns the 51%. So I want you to understand this when I'm about to break this down. You yourself, the common people that's out there viewing this channel and viewing this content, you are the 49% holders in regards to the 51% because you have not fulfilled the path of redemption. You have not gained the action of regaining or gaining possession of something in exchange for payment or clearing a debt. You have not done that yet, which is why a lot of people who view these contents on the World Wide Web and so forth and so on, what we call the internet, they don't understand how this stuff works because you haven't even taken the basic processes. Now, I know years and years ago, I told people about becoming a secure party creditor, yada, yada, yada. As skewed as it is, the world over on the internet, I'm going to speak on my own behalf. Since I became a secure party creditor and established it and put it on record the proper way, my life has been fucking amazing. You see what I'm saying? Because, again, as I say time and time again, I don't owe nobody shit at all. Because I learned the reality behind the object of owing. The only debts that you really owe are those that you lawfully incurred, right? Lawfully. When it comes to legal, understand that those debts are nothing more than just mere claims. Now, I'm using words specifically so you can get a Black's Law Dictionary and understand how these words are applied. A claim is just that. It's just someone saying you did something. Or just like a lot of people are up in arms about filing lawsuits. Those shits are tedious. And 99.9% of the time, the judge is on the side of the corporation. Okay? So when you try to file lawsuits in a particular fashion where you're saying certain things in regards to how the commercial deception is practiced over you, yeah, the judge gonna throw that shit out. And I'm just gonna be the one to say it. Of course they're gonna throw it out. Because you have to remember, when you file a lawsuit, it becomes public policy. So if you win, with the exceptions that people have won, I will say this, you have to sign what's called a non-disclosure agreement, which means you can't say what you want or even how you want or even talk about the facts of the case. So what good does it do you to sue and then not be able to have somebody else file a remedy, which is why I tell people redemption is a singular path. This shit ain't for everybody. I'm just going to be 1,000 with you because a lot of people will not do that, but I'm going to be the one to tell you redemption is not for everybody. Because a lot of people operate in indoctrination, fear, or cognitive dissonance, or a combination of all three. Which, at that point, you're beyond repair, to be honest with you. So, when we're talking about the action of being saved from sin, error, or evil, contracts are error, and if somebody wants to steal from you, that's evil manifest in and of itself. Now, the action of regaining or gaining possession of something in exchange for payment or clearing a debt is what we really need to start establishing. Okay, so let's stick there. So when you request a taxpayer identification number certification, it's what you would send to the IRS. I tell people it is not hard to fill out IRS tax forms. If you have the reading level of a 7th grader, read the instructions. Don't read the form first, people. Do not read the actual form. That's why it says, before you begin, for guidance related to the purpose, see purpose of the form below. These forms tell you before you start filling it out, it's its particular purpose for the usage of it, a specific purpose. So read first, people. I encourage everybody to read these forms before you fill them out. Don't listen to somebody on a website or TikTok or Instagram or any other one of the platforms and you don't do your due diligence. Fuck what they talking about, people. Okay? I teach people how to be self-sufficient on your own within regards to this, because you can listen to 1,000,000 people, but they're not going to execute what you have to execute in your personal life. You have to first understand, get your thinking straight. And number 2, understand why you're doing what you're doing in the first place. See, most people come out here on these platforms and what they want to do is encourage a lot of people to come up quick. No, people, I don't do that on my channel. I never have. What I'm telling you is what you need to do before you start establishing a meaningful life is get rid of the bullshit in your life first. Let's start there. Okay? Let's start there. Let's start minimizing the debts in our own life, the claims and all the other things against us. Let us remove it, because now we can make a headway for a clearer path for where we're going in life. Okay? It's not about joining no webinars and no groups and none of that. And I'm not saying no names. I'm just saying you have to realize what you're doing before you even realize what you're doing. Don't listen to what other people are saying, because it's easy. It's so easy to get sucked in for people to say, oh, you can just file this form and this happens. Well, where's the fucking results, people? That's all I want to say in regards to that. And I ain't saying no names, but you watching this channel and you watching this channel today and you watching this channel in yesteryear, next year, whenever. Just saying, the truth be told, you have to understand, where is the result? The only result that you ever going to get is from you. And that's why on my channel, I don't go by what nobody else say. I prove my point with my own results and my execution. So a bitch can't tell me nothing. You know what I'm saying? Just keep it straight. I use my own life as my own example. All praise is due to the Most High. But let's cook. But if indeed you cannot get this information from these entities, right? What you can do, okay, people, within regards to this form 4506A, it's a request for a copy of exempt or political organization. Notice what I'm saying. Exempt or political organization. IRS form and IRS form 4506B. Request for a copy of exempt organization's IRS application or letter. Now, you would only need to fill out the form 4506B if it's a request for the exempt organization's application or letter. If it's an exempt organization, IRS 501c3, whatever, right? But in the form 4506A is a request for a copy of exempt or political organization. So what do I mean political? Remember when I was telling you about the court cases and how these individuals are part of government? So just think, anytime you see something part of government, you have the right to actually access these individuals' personal information. Fuck what the clerk tells you and fuck what their higher ups say. Let's read. Use of form 4506A to request under Internal Revenue Code section 6104. Read this with me. A copy of an exempt or political organization's return, report, or notice. Ooh-wee. Note, forms 900, return of organization exempt from income tax, which is a 990EZ. Short form, return of organization exempt from income tax, which is a 990PF. Return of private foundation of section 4947A1, trust related as a private foundation, and 990T, exempt organization, business income tax return received in 2017 or later, are available, quote, in bulk, download free of charge on tax exempt organization. Search TEOS, irs.gov/TEOS. Now, what are you doing, people? You are literally getting information that otherwise is not available to the common public if you fill out this form correctly. Free of charge. Hint, hint, right? But at the same token, when you have access to this particular information, you now have the trump card above any individual who would try to want to place a claim over you. Just say, you ain't got to take my advice for it. But at the same token, it's the reality behind it. So with that being said, you can literally use this form to get information from, if you have a pending court case. I told people, you go up to the window with a W-9 form and you ask the individual who is the head over the case, which is the clerk. Remember, people, the clerk is the head banker. You see what I'm saying? The judge is the CFO of sorts. You see what I'm saying? The CFO of sorts. Chief Financial Officer. It's not about judgment and it's not about justice. It's not about none of that. It's commerce, people. And the only one who has a direct record of this information that you need is the clerk of court. And I told you, this does not constitute legal advice. But if you have enough common sense, you know exactly what I'm saying is very true. So when they say it's commerce, because you notice, anytime you deal with a court case, where's the first place they tell you to go? For people who done paid traffic tickets, probation fines, fees, and so forth, where's the first place they tell you to go to make a payment? The clerk's office. Isn't that the equivalent of going to like a fucking bank teller? Why the fuck is a cash register inside the motherfucking clerk's office? Because it's commerce, people. It's commerce. See what I'm saying? And to be honest with you, and I'm going to just drop a hint for those who are willing and able to listen to what I have to say. Definition, of redemption. The action of regaining or gaining possession of something in exchange for payment or clearing a debt. So if you owe a probation fine or a fee on a court case, you're supposed to take a tender of payment to the window because you can't even use Federal Reserve notes in a fucking courthouse. But they're not going to tell you that. Because again, people, it goes on the books as a tax payment. Remember, it's commerce. And I keep reinforcing this point for a fucking reason. It's business. Every time you go in there and hand them something, it's a business transaction. Period. So when you tender a payment to a court case, you file it into a court case. They say you owe $600. What do? You're going to pay 600 Federal Reserve notes, or you're going to give a tender payment? Because in all honesty, if you look at UCC 3-603, it says that if they refuse it, it's discharge. See what I'm saying? So there you go. Your redemption in a nutshell. Because remember, Federal Reserve notes aren't worth shit. So what did you really pay? If you read the Constitution, you know exactly what I'm saying is very true. Article 1, Section 10 says the only lawful money to be tendered in payment of debts is gold and silver. It didn't say shit about Federal Reserve notes. It didn't say nothing about that. Those are promissory notes. So what's the difference between you issuing a promissory note to a clerk of court and a promissory note to a bank? It's the same shit. The only difference is banks go by GAAP and these individuals go by an exemption. See what I'm saying? So this is the reason why you really need this form. You really need this form, particularly in order for you to get this information. Because if they're exempt, that means you exempt too. Idiotas. I'm just saying. This is reality. If they're exempt, you're exemption, and that's when you use your exemption against them because you have all the information to say, you don't pay shit. What the fuck am I paying you for? But I'm just saying, people, this is the reality behind redemption. Okay? This is the reality because you owe nobody nothing. The only thing you owe people is the truth. That's it. In commerce, truth is sovereign. So whoever comes with the most evident truth is the sovereign in the case. That's what they won't tell you. See, they always want you to be in a position of where you are a default person, a default individual, or a debtor, or a person who's the off-ender. It's easier for them to do it that way because it covers the actual transactionary nature of what's even taking place, which at the end of the day is commerce. So people, this is in less than 18 minutes. Well, 18 to the top. Straight up. To the top. Straight. And if you understand this, you are requesting information that they will give you free of charge. It's public information, people. But you just have to go the right avenues to use it. And you basically have to understand you have to read these forms before you fill them out. If you don't, sorry for you. You know what I'm saying? Welcome to the blind side of the commercial game where you can't redeem yourself. Because you can't remove yourself from sin, error, or evil. Or in the redemptive commercial sense, you don't have the action necessary to regain or gain possession of something in exchange for payment or clearing of a debt. Other than that, you remain a debtor, and a debtor shall you forever remain until you understand the simplicity behind redemption. But I'm just saying, I'm a man that loves to read. Simple as that. Not going by my own conjecture, not going by my own behest, not going by my own ideology. I go by what it says. Because that's what I'm going to stick to. Simple as that. So with that being said, people, if you need further help or assistance with anything, I tell people consult with me in private because there's certain things I would say online, but I just don't. If it's not for the sake of the agents, it's for the sake of the grifters. You know, the people who come along and steal your content and then they go sell it somewhere else. And then next thing you know, you ain't getting no remedy because they don't know what the fuck they talking about. But all they do know is what they talking about. They just talk good as shit and finesse you out of something. A tree is known by its fruits, people. Before you spend your fiat, and I ain't saying no names. I'm just saying to my audience in general, a tree is known by its fruit. If a person can't show you no fruit, don't even waste your fucking time. Before you spend your money with people, you better get to know what type of tree that is. Because if we look in nature, You know how many souls that have been deceased trying to figure out whether or not this tree was poisonous or not? Whether this fruit that we so freely now buy from the grocery store, which was once upon a time free in society, how many people perish finding that shit out the hard way, thinking that, whoa, it looks like it's edible. Next thing you know, they're keeling over. Just think about centuries and centuries ago where it wasn't no hospital. You know what I'm saying? See, it was all through trial and error. And that's the whole thing that you're going to have to learn about these processes. I know a lot of people over the years that said they spent a lot of fiat and got nowhere. A tree is known by its fruits, people. Again, consistency is key. A tree is known by its fruits. I'm going to keep emphasizing that. So if you're a scriptural person and you read it and you understand what that means, then you should already know where the fuck I'm getting at. And I'm not saying nobody's name because I'm not kicking no dirt on nobody. I'm not a cannibal. I don't eat flesh. But let that be your lesson. All praise due to the Most High for you even being here today and getting this knowledge, because you could be doing something else, being distracted by the world and its cares, but you here. So take my word for an example and just take my content as an example and do your own due diligence. That way you can have your fruits so you can show other people, not just tell them, but show them as well. Because one thing for sure and two things for certain, you are not supposed to leave this earth debt laden, and you're not supposed to leave your debts onto your family. You're not. You're supposed to do your due diligence while you have time, while you're here now. Get active. Stop being lazy, and damn sure stop being fearful. Because if you believe in the Most High, no weapon formed against you will prosper. See, if you live in the spirit of truth, you ain't got to worry about nothing happening to you. Nothing's going to go wrong for you because you have the weapon that the world can't use, which is the truth. See, the world has to use deception, but when you walk in the light, you don't need to use deception. You stand in the truth and you stand firmly on it. That's it. That's the only sacrifice you have to make, is being willing to tell the truth. So help you God. Simple as that. Stay tuned for the next upload. Thank y'all for viewing the content. As I say, be your own truth. Be your own light. You will see how it works, but you have to work it. You can't depend on nobody else to work it for you. See, I'm just here as the messenger. But at the end of the day, you got to put your hand to that paper. You have to get on the phone with them people. You have to execute. I can just simply direct and guide because these are things that I do in my personal life, and I will never suggest to somebody something that I wouldn't do myself. Never. Not at all, because then I become responsible for what you do. And again, I'm not supposed to leave this earth with debts. So with that being said, stay tuned. Hope you enjoy the content. Make sure you like and subscribe to the content. If you feel like you want to donate to the channel, because I've been demonetized for well over 2.5 years now. Still kicking though. It is what it is. All provision due to the Most High. But if indeed you feel compelled, now, next week, next month, next year, doesn't matter. I'll leave my payment information in the video description and the comment section below. Thank you very much for your time and your patience. And agents, fuck you too. Straight up. And I want to say, fuck you. Straight up. And y'all, stay tuned for the next upload. You won't want to miss it. It is what it is. Peace, light, love. Y'all take care. See you soon.